Hello guys, welcome to another video and thank you so much for visiting my channel. My name is Natasha, I'm a polyglot, I am fluent in 9 languages, and here on my channel I am usually talking about language learning process and sharing different language learning tips and stories. But sometimes, like today, I prefer to talk about something else. In today's video, I decided to actually talk about my own country. As some of you might know, I am from Bosnia. I was born and raised there. It's a very small country in southeastern Europe, in former Yugoslavia, and I know that it's not one of the most popular places in the world, but it is very interesting and very complicated at the same time. So since I know that I have guys from all around the world following me here on my channel, I decided to talk about my country because I know that not many people know about it that much. And since it is very complicated and problematic part of the world, I decided that our first topic we should discuss is going to be something nice, and it is going to be food. And since this is December holiday season, I have to admit that it's not my favorite part of the year. I find the whole holiday madness a little bit annoying, but I have to admit that food is definitely something that I'm definitely looking forward to in December. So I decided to share some of the most popular dishes from Bosnia, country I come from, with you guys. I'm sure that even if you have never heard about Bosnia in particular, you have probably heard about Balkans and the whole Mediterranean region, and you have probably heard that our food is actually one of the best in the world. In fact, every single story or survey research about food that I have read had Serbian and Bosnian food in top 10, and trust me, it is true. You can check it out, and I think that we are pretty problematic when it comes to politics and history and wars and economical situation, but when it comes to food, I think we are definitely one of the best, maybe second best after Italians. So today I'm going to share with you some of the most popular dishes from Bosnia, but I have to say that I will speak about Bosnia in particular because that's my country, but our food is same as food in Serbia or food in Croatia. Of course, there are certain dishes that are very typical for certain region, but I don't think that there is anything Bosnian that cannot be found in our surrounding countries. So whatever I say today, I know that people eat that food also in Serbia, in Croatia, in Macedonia. A lot of our food is also same as food in Turkey, Greece, Romania, all other Balkan countries. And it's because, as I said, we are politically and historically a very complicated region. We used to be ruled by different countries and different empires throughout our history, so that's what makes us a little bit complicated. But when it comes to food, I think actually that those different empires and different countries that ruled us actually brought a lot of good food. So Bosnia's food is definitely a mix of mostly Turkish and Ottoman and Middle Eastern food, also combined with some Central European influences, so that's what makes that food really good. So let's start. I will introduce few very typically Bosnian dishes to you today. So the most popular #1 Bosnian food that everyone who has ever visited Bosnia has tried, and also everyone from Bosnia, when you ask them what the most popular thing from there is, they will definitely tell you it's cevap or cevapi, plural. I'm going to be posting photos of this typical food here. So as you can see, cevapi is meat, same as most of Bosnian cuisine. It's meat based, and cevapi is like sausage, type of sausage with no skin around. And it's always made from minced meat, and the type of meat depends on what region in Bosnia you are from. It's usually made of mixed beef or pork or lamb. Of course, Bosnia is, when it comes to religion, very mixed, so in certain areas they don't use pork for cevapi or for anything else because of religious reasons. But in part of Bosnia where I'm from, I think that cevapi is usually made from pork meat combined with some other types of meat. As some of you might know, I'm vegetarian. I have been vegetarian for the last 10 years, so last time I had cevapi was like maybe 10, 12 years ago. I was never a big fan of meat, but I have to say that even back in the times when I used to eat meat, cevapi was one of very few meats that I actually liked. Cevapi is usually seasoned with different things. I think they put garlic sometimes in there, onion, paprika, which is used, I would say, quite a bit in cuisine of this part of Europe. I have to say that cevapi is also eaten in all other states or other countries surrounding Bosnia, but they do look different in different parts of Bosnia as well. So for example, in part of Bosnia where I'm from, which is from the north, city Banja Luka, our cevapi is totally different than any other cevapi you will find in the rest of Bosnia and other countries in the Balkans. So I will post you a picture here. Normally cevapi, the first thing you Google will show you this long sausage looking thing. But in Banja Luka, where I'm from, cevapi are actually squarish. They look like little square, and I have no idea why that is. I think that Banja Luka is the only part of Bosnia or only part of the Balkans where cevapi looks like square and not like sausage, and I have no idea what that is. And it's actually, now I am ashamed because I am from Banja Luka and I grew up eating cevapi that looks like square. And then I remember when I started traveling to different parts of Bosnia and different parts of Balkans, cevapi looked completely different. So I have no idea why that is. I hope someone here, someone smarter, will actually teach me why that is. But no matter where you go, what part of Bosnia or what part of the Balkans, if you eat meat, you should definitely try cevapi. They're usually served in bread that we call lepinja. In some parts of Bosnia, it's called somun. Actually, it's really good bread. And sometimes, or most of the times, it's served with raw onion, which some people might hate, some people might like, but apparently it pairs really well with that type of meat. So if you are going to visit Bosnia or the Balkans and if you eat meat, I think this should definitely be the first meal you try, or first traditional meal you try. Traditional Bosnian dish number 2 that I want to talk about is actually something that we usually eat only during this time of year, winter and holiday season. It's called sarma, and it's cabbage leaves, sour cabbage leaves stuffed with a mix of meat and rice. Again, type of meat depends on where in Bosnia you're from. Some, as I said, some religious groups don't eat pork, but I think I grew up on pork sarma, and it was usually mixed with beef, I think most of the time. That's how my mom and grandma used to make it. Again, this is, even though I don't eat meat, this used to be one of meat dishes that I actually liked a lot back when I was a little kid. I know that this is eaten in every single Balkan country. I know it's also eaten in Russia, but it's called differently. It has totally different name. I think it's called golubtsi. I have no idea why. But I think that this is the dish that came from Middle Eastern countries, particularly Turkey. I know Turkey is not very Middle Eastern, but it's in between Europe and Asia, and I know they make sarma there. But I think that they don't make it from cabbage leaves. I think it's made from that wine leaf or grape leaf. And it's totally different, but the idea is same. You mix meat and rice and stuff some vegetable leaf with that mixture, and then you cook it for like 3 or 4 hours. It's a very complicated dish to make, and we usually make it and eat it during winter and holiday season. Every holiday, New Year's, Christmas, pretty much any holiday during the winter season. If you go to a Bosnian house or any Balkans house, you are probably going to be served sarma. This is also one of those dishes that Bosnian moms or Balkan moms, when they cook it, if you see Bosnian mom cooking it, you can be sure that you're gonna be eating sarma for next 3 days. It is complicated, not that complicated to make, but it takes a long time to cook. So Bosnian moms are very practical, and they think, okay, if I'm going to cook something for 3 or 4 hours, then my family might as well eat it for next 3 days. And for some reason, sarma is known to be better when it's reheated on second or third day than the first day when it's made. I have to say that I made sarma only once, and I made 2 types of sarma. I made one traditional with meat, which was for my brother, and then I made another non-traditional one, which was vegan for me, and I used soy and mix of walnuts and mushrooms, and it was amazing. I have to tell you, it was even better than traditional one, of course, for someone like me who doesn't eat meat. But even if you try meat sarma, I'm sure that you will love it. It is something that might sound a little weird for people from the West who are not used to this kind of food. And I know that, for example, here in the US, that sour cabbage is not really commonly found in their food and might sound a little bit weird, but trust me, once you try it, you are definitely going to fall in love with it. So this is dish number 2. And dish number 3 is definitely my favorite one, and I would say it's favorite for most of the people. It's called burek. It's phyllo pastry dough, filled with different fillings. The 3 most traditional ones are meat, again, minced meat, cheese, which is, I would say, everyone's favorite, and potato, which is my favorite, because I love potatoes in every form. But any of these 3, whatever you try, trust me, you are gonna fall in love with it. This is something that I make very often here at home. I make it from scratch, so I make my own phyllo dough and I stuff it mostly with cheese because I feel that's what everyone likes, but my favorite definitely is potato. This is also something that you will find in every single bakery in Bosnia. All of them make burek. Also, all moms in Bosnia make burek, grandmas in Bosnia make burek. When I was in Sarajevo, which is the capital of Bosnia, I went to one bakery or a burek place. It's specialized only in burek, that is supposed to have the best burek in Bosnia, and it had good burek. But I would say that if you want to try the best burek, you should definitely find a Bosnian friend. And you should go to their home, and their mom or grandma, probably grandma, is going to make you the best burek in the world. Second best is the one that I make, and I'm not saying this just to show off, but I make really good burek because that's one of my favorite dishes ever. It's something I could eat every single day of my life and never get bored. And I think that's why I have been practicing so much, that it's really good. It became really good. And I also have to say that burek, for some reason, is known to be the best hangover food in the world. So if you happen to travel to the Balkans, and if you find yourself in a big city on Saturday morning, early morning around 4 a.m. or Sunday early morning around 4 a.m., you will see a lot of young people coming from clubs or bars, from their nightlife parties, and they will go straight to the bakeries, which open really early, and they will all be eating burek. I don't know why that is. I guess because it's so oily and rich. It's supposed to help you with hangover. I personally never had it after hangover, because my hangovers are usually not serious enough for me to need anything to help myself. But if you happen to party in the Balkans, you should definitely go to one of the bakeries and have any type of burek, and you are supposed to... Actually, that's probably going to be the best burek of your life, because once you're drunk, everything sounds and tastes perfect. So my definitely dish number 1 from Bosnia is burek. So these were my top 3 Bosnian traditional dishes that you should definitely try if you're going to Bosnia. Now I'm going to talk about desserts, because if I continue talking about other 100 dishes that we have, I feel that this video is going to be lasting for hours. So I have choose top 3 desserts that I think are typical for Bosnia, but there are many more of them, and these 3 are not even my favorite, but I feel that you should know about them. First one is baklava, which is definitely not typically Bosnian. I would say it's more something that you usually think of when you think of Middle East. It came to Bosnia from Middle East. It's very popular in Turkey as well. It's popular in whole Balkans. And I feel that when it comes to Bosnia, for some reason, or for understandable reasons, it's much more popular in the part of Bosnia where population is mostly Muslim, compared to the part of Bosnia where population is mostly Christian, like the part of where I am from. It is not that popular, in a sense that most of moms and grandmas from the area I come from don't really make baklava that much normally, compared to moms from Muslim part or ladies from Muslim part of Bosnia. They make it a lot for all of their holidays. And it's usually way better in Sarajevo, for example, than in Banja Luka, where I'm from, even though you can still find it everywhere. Everyone knows about it. Everyone ate it at least 100 times in their life. But for some reason, it is not that popular in that Christian part. However, if you're going to visit Sarajevo, which I think you definitely should. If you're visiting Bosnia, definitely try baklava because it's really, really good. I didn't explain what it is because I assume that everyone knows it. It's also phyllo dough with mostly chopped nuts in there. In Bosnia, Bosnian baklava is usually made with walnuts because that's nut that we use the most for our desserts. However, when I was in Turkey, I tried baklava made from pistachios and it's, I think, much better, but to each their own. Dessert number 2, and this is the one that you will find everywhere in Bosnia and the Balkans, are palacinke, which are pancakes. However, for US Americans, our pancakes are totally different than what I call American pancakes. They're basically crepes or French pancake, Swedish pancake. There are so many different names for it. In Bosnia or in Serbian language and Bosnian language, we call it palacinke. They're very thin and they're usually served with Nutella inside or Eurocrem, which is Bosnian version of Nutella or Balkans version of Nutella actually. And sometimes we also serve them with different types of jam and ground walnuts. My favorite, I actually grew up eating the ones with jam, which were very, because that's the cheapest spreading in the Balkans and every family makes their own. So that's what I grew up eating. But my favorite definitely is Nutella, because I don't even have to explain why. Everyone loves Nutella. It's amazing, tastes perfect, and for some reason it pairs with these pancakes the best. You will find pancakes in pretty much any restaurant in Bosnia and in the Balkans in dessert section. Kids love them a lot, grown-up people love them a lot, and also during, mostly I would say during fall, but also during summer. These pancakes are also served as street food. So if you walk through any Balkan city, if you walk any street in the Balkan city, any busy street, you will see people making these pancakes and selling them on the street, and you can pick from so many different fillings, but I said mostly Nutella is probably the most popular, so I definitely recommend you to try these pancakes. And we do not eat them for breakfast. Usually in the restaurants they're served for dessert, but at home you can eat them for breakfast or for dinner. And sometimes we also eat them with like cheese, not sweet cheese, savory cheese as a main meal, but they're mostly, in my opinion, they should be dessert. And third dessert that I want to talk about is actually one of my favorite things, but they're only good, in my opinion, in the Balkans. They're called krofne. Actually, it's donut, nothing new or nothing typically Bosnian or typically Balkan. Donuts are made everywhere in the world. They're just fried dough. But here in the US, they're usually sold with different kind of glaze, or they look more beautiful in the US, but I think that they're much more tasty in Bosnia. My favorite donuts are the ones that are just round little things and they're stuffed with jam. This is something that my grandma used to make for me when I was a kid, because I was the only sweet tooth in the family, so she would make it for me and I would eat everything. And my favorite definitely are the ones with jam. However, in Bosnia, I feel that most of the people love them when they're stuffed with Nutella or some chocolate spread inside. And these glazed donuts that you usually find in the US or in the Western countries are not that popular in Bosnia. I feel that most of the people still prefer old traditional krofna or donut, and I'm definitely one of them. So these were my top 3 traditional Bosnian dishes and top 3 traditional Bosnian desserts. However, I said that all of these things you can find anywhere in the Balkans, and some of these things can also be found everywhere in the world. So it's not like we Bosnians invented something super special. But I have to tell you that some things definitely do taste better in Bosnia. Also, these were just 6 things or 6 dishes that I talked about. There are hundreds and hundreds of different dishes that Bosnian families eat on a daily basis that you don't really find in the US or in the Western Europe. but I don't have that much time to discuss each one of them. However, if you're visiting Bosnia, you should definitely try these things that I mentioned in this video. If you eat meat, if you're a meat eater and meat lover, you will definitely be so happy there, because I feel that Balkans is still area that prefers meat, and being vegetarian or vegan, even worse, is nothing that's very popular over there. So even I have a hard time finding something to eat. However, I do think that our traditional cuisine has a lot of vegetarian and vegan dishes. It's just that most of people still prefer to have meat, and if they don't have meat, they don't even consider their meal a real meal. So if you're a meat eater, you will be happy in Bosnia. Even if you're not, you still can find a lot of things that you can eat. Let me know in the comments, have you heard about any of these traditionally Bosnian meals? Have you tried any of them? And if you're from the US, if you want to eat Balkan food, I think that the best city is definitely Chicago, because there is a huge Serbian community there, or huge Balkan community there. And I have heard and have seen some videos here on YouTube about different Serbian restaurants in Chicago. About the rest of the US, I have no idea. Here in California, I haven't really found anything that's really impressive when it comes to Bosnian food and Balkan food, so except the things that I make, of course. So let me know in the comments, have you ever heard and tried any of these things? And let me know, I know that I have people from different countries here in my YouTube channel. Let me know what's typical food in your country. I would love to discover new meals. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next week.